Their relationship is like the creepiest. What if Superman was actually evil? What would you do then? What would that world even look like? Hey, so we're gonna do a reaction video to The Boys ending explained. So obviously spoils ahead. If you have not watched the show, then click out of this video because I don't want to spoil it for you. The Boys is actually one of my favorite shows right now, and I gotta tell you, it is very graphic. It is very like in your face. So if you have low tolerance for blood, gore, and you know, crudeness at times, then this show really isn't for you. But let's jump right in to the video, and I'm gonna leave the link down below in case you guys want to check it out. This video is by Think Story, so check out their channel.
Grab your tickets to Oceanland and use your baby as a weapon because we have the first superhero show with flying sex. Yes, it's Amazon's latest original, The Boys, and I was blown away. This show is badass. That was diabolical.
Yes, it is.
So in this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into the ending and some of the things you may have missed along the way. Get ready, because here we go. The last episode is titled You Found Me, and it's no wonder the writers called it this considering almost every character in this episode is searching for someone, whether it be Hugh for Starlight in the church, Hugh for Frenchie in Mother's Milk in captivity, Billy for Stillwell, or the biggest shocker of them all, Billy, who is finally reunited with his wife Becca, only to find out she is raising Homelander's son. But we'll get into that in a bit. Let's travel halfway around the world to Tal Rifat, Syria, where Homelander takes down a terrorist chemical manufacturing lab. Of course, this is all a setup. If the terrorists are found to be in possession of Compound V, a chemical that can turn people into superheroes, aka soups, as well as acting as a steroid for current soups, the US government will need some extra firepower to combat this new threat. And that's what Madeline Stillwell has in mind.
It is a whole new world now. And there is only one company
She's so powerful.
that has the product to fight back.
Madeline's goal throughout the season was to get the US government to allow soups into the military, giving Vought, the company which owns these soups, essentially billions in contract deals. And Madeline isn't afraid to do anything to get what she wants. She blackmails a US senator and orchestrates several devious plots. All of this for what Madeline wants more than anything else, to be the head of Vought. In the final episode, she's approached by the mysterious Mr. Edgar, who, up until this point, we've only heard of. He's the head of Vought and is pleased with her work, setting her up to be the head of the company when he retires. But Madeline's want is tied into making Vought the most profitable company that it can be, not about superheroes protecting its citizens with honor and integrity. As we learn early on in the show, the superheroes are treated as brands, marketed to sell commercials, movies, and products. Their crime solving is entirely orchestrated by Vought, where they simply need to show up, beat up the bad guy, and wait for the cameras to arrive for their cheesy sound bites.
Yeah, stand over him and say this is lit.
Additionally, the more D-list superheroes are given contracts to protect individual cities, like when the mayor of Baltimore comes to Madeline and she offers Nubian Prince for the sum of $300 million. With the latest news that terrorists now have their own superhero, the Department of Justice makes a deal with Madeline to acquire her soups in the war on terror. Up until this point, soups were only allowed to engage in national, non-military affairs. Part of this deal also includes making the boys wanted men, which leads to the arrest of Frenchie, Kimiko, and Mother's Milk. Starlight, however, is struggling with something different this episode.
Okay, but yeah, I don't specifically remember the part where Kimiko was in jail with them, but that would not have held her. She literally is like this killing machine. So I don't get it, personally. Like,
All her
Okay.
life, she was told by her mother that her powers were a gift from God, that she was chosen. She gave away her entire childhood for the dream of being in the Seven, which didn't turn out the way she had hoped for. But when she
Censored.
finds out she wasn't chosen by God,
that
but
part.
rather sold to Vought and turned into a soup, it doesn't go over so well.
This was your dream. I never got a chance to choose my own dream. No wonder I don't know who the I'm supposed to be.
Starlight's entire life was built on a lie, and to further add to the
Identity
pain, she finds out
crisis.
her father left because of this decision.
I
He
feel you,
couldn't
girl.
live with the guilt of seeing his daughter as some lab rat just so he could pay off his debts. We also have the Deep, who has been sent off to Ohio after he got #MeToo'd by Starlight. He learns that he won't be leaving Ohio anytime soon, saddened that he won't get to command his own naval marine unit. His character gets his comeuppance this season after he sexually assaulted Starlight when he himself is sexually assaulted without his consent by an eager fan in episode 7 who violates his gills. Regardless, the Deep is likely to hold resentment towards Vought, priming him to switch allegiances next season and seek redemption. Billy and Hugh seek out Grace
Interesting.
Mallory, the original founder of the Boys, a group dedicated to exposing the injustices of Vought and the Soups. Like Billy and Hugh, Grace lost 2 people close to her at the hands of Soups, her 2 grandchildren who were burned to death by Lamplighter, the Soup who was part of the Seven but retired in episode 1, making room for Starlight. Vengeance is arguably the biggest theme of season 1. Hugh lost his girlfriend Robin, and Billy seeks vengeance for the disappearance of his wife. 8 years ago, Homelander raped his wife, and Becca was never seen from again. Billy believes so much that she's still alive that when he finds out his sister-in-law made a grave for her, he demolishes the tombstone in defiance. Grace says she won't help them. She's learned that vengeance isn't the solution.
Vengeance isn't a path to glory, Hugh. It's a one-way ticket to a dead end.
And Hugh, in his final confrontation with Billy, learns this too.
This is never gonna stop. It's just gonna be more blood and awfulness.
This completes Hugh's character arc for the season. If you recall, he starts off as a timid pushover.
Hey, Gary. Really need to talk to you about
Later,
something.
kid.
Okay.
Unable to fight back, and even his girlfriend had to first ask him out.
Dude, I had to ask you out.
With the death of Robin, he is purely motivated by vengeance, to avenge his girlfriend and take down A-Train and any Soups that get in his way.
You'll teach me to outrun cancer?
A-Train. Oh my god.
Contrast this to the Hugh we see at the end. He's not a pushover. He stands up to Billy and, in the biggest ironic twist, goes from wanting to kill A-Train to performing CPR on him to save his life. His character has learned that vengeance isn't the answer. This positive transformation is rewarded when he's later saved by Starlight, opening up potential for the two of them to reunite in season 2. Billy, on the other hand, does not change like Hugh did. His hatred for Homelander runs so deep he will do anything and everything to get at him. But how do you take down an indestructible superhero? As Queen Maeve points out to Starlight in episode 7,
our weakness is the same as anyone's. It's people. The people we care about.
if you want to get at Homelander, get at the people he loves.
Yeah, you're the only thing he gives 2 shits about.
Yes, Madeline and Homelander's
That's
relationship is,
Creepy.
well, awkward. Homelander never grew up with a family, especially a mother. The closest thing he had to a father was Dr. Vogelbaum when he was raised in the lab. So Homelander manifested this desire for a mother's love over years and years. This manifestation causes him to become infatuated with her and desire her approval. He often uses his X-ray vision to peep into her room while she's using the breast pump. Something Madeline knows he's doing by watching the security camera, and she uses this to her advantage. Almost every time Homelander
so
refuses
weird.
to do something, whether it be a press junket or video skit, Madeline uses a combination of motherly love and sexuality to bend Homelander like a piece of clay in her hand.
Oh my boy.
Their relationship is like the creepiest slash weirdest relationship because she's using, yes, mother skills and like woman skills, like her womanly assets, and it's so creepy. It's so creepy to me. Oh.
I'm proud of you.
The strongest person in the world succumbs to laying on her lap and later, as we'll find out, climaxing in 10 seconds when they eventually do the deed. She is his weakness, his kryptonite. Billy exploits this by holding Madeline hostage, and when Homelander arrives, Homelander taunts Billy, asking if he knows with 100% truth that Becca is dead. Because you see here, Homelander already knows the truth, that Becca is alive. Earlier in the episode, when Homelander asks Madeline to tell him nothing but the truth, she tells him that Becca, who is holding his child, died while having a miscarriage. This doesn't sit right with Homelander. What we don't see is that Homelander went back to Dr. Vogelbaum.
So I went back to Vogelbaum, and I managed to squeeze the truth out of him.
That's such a fun name to say. Vogelbaum. Vogelbaum. Just me? Okay.
Truth.
He then whispers into her ear, something we, the viewer, can't even make out. He's telling Madeline that Becca and his boy are still alive, that he knows the truth. Madeline apologizes, but this betrayal is too biting for Homelander, who uses his laser eyes to burn a hole through her head. This leaves us with Billy and Homelander. With his plan totally gone to shit, he blows the explosives only to wake up hours later on a random lawn somewhere in the suburbs. Homelander saved him from the blast. But why? He knows that, for Billy, a fate worse than death is to see that his wife had left him and has been raising the son of the man he's hated more than anything. Billy's path for vengeance has put him in his own personal hell, one I'm super excited to see him navigate in season 2. But what the hell was Becca doing all these years? Why did she just disappear and not tell Billy? Well, for one, I think we can rule out it's because she didn't love him and just wanted to get away. From the flashbacks we saw this season, the two are totally in love and their relationship is strong.
Billy is such a babe, though. Like, with the scruff and without the scruff, yes. Sign me up for that.
So obviously some outside force is at play here. We also know that Homelander, until a few hours ago, also did not know about Becca and the boy. My best guess is that this was a plan by Dr. Vogelbaum to make amends for the experiments he did on children. As he tells Homelander in episode 7,
You should have been raised in a home with a family who loved you, not in a cold lab with doctors.
Dr. Vogelbaum doesn't want this new kid to go through the same thing Homelander did. He facilitated Becca's escape, but in order to keep Becca and the boy safe, they would need to keep everything secret, meaning Becca would have to stay away from Billy in exchange for the safety of her son. Now, what would be even more interesting is if Madeline didn't know about this either, and that this whole time she thought she was telling the truth, and Homelander killed her for no reason. That would have huge ramifications for his character in Season 2, potentially pitting him against Vought Industries should the writers choose to go in that direction. With Madeline now gone, does this mean we'll see more of Mr. Edgar in Season 2? I think so. The actor who plays him usually doesn't do small one-scene roles anymore unless it can launch into something much bigger, and with Season 2 already confirmed, it's likely he'll be the next big villain. We also have the rise of terrorist soups and the fact Vought now has the soups in the military.
I love her.
Vought is poised to be much more powerful, and taking them down will be much more difficult. Season 2 will likely see some of the Seven switching allegiances. The two most likely to change are A-Train and Queen Maeve. A-Train because he'll learn the boys are simply trying to expose Vought and its diabolical plans surrounding Compound V, a compound he himself is addicted to and causes his heart attack. And Queen Maeve because she's watched as Vought and Homelander manipulate the masses for their own political gain. How can we forget the chilling plane scene in which she pleads with Homelander to save the children, but he won't because he doesn't want witnesses. The writers are really setting her up to make a switch in Season 2.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so a lot to dissect. Okay, so I guess it was just the season finale. And guys, I have to say, I 100% love this show. I mean, there's some scenes sometimes that I'm just like, whew, that was way too much. Like, I can't handle that. But overall, it's a really amazing show. I think since episode 1, it completely like hooked me. And Austin and I actually ended up watching the entire show in like 2 days. We had to save that like the last 2 episodes, but we binged watched that one night and we just like could not stop. So it's addicting. I will react to some more of The Boys. I saw on here that they had episodes 1 to 3, so I will definitely do a chit chat with you guys on that. On episode 1, just unimaginable, you know, like this story, this plot is really like testing the boundaries, because you don't really get to see superheroes in that kind of light. You always see the good side of superheroes, and it's a huge franchise. The superhero movies that are out right now, they don't show what could go wrong. Like, what if Superman was actually evil? What would you do then? What would that world even look like? So I think that this kind of experiments with that theory. So I think this show really explores and digs deep into that, because Homelander is not a good guy. You would think as our Superman, you know, icon, he would be the good guy in this show, but he's not. He does some awful, terrible things, and you just can't help but like scream at your television like, why would you do that? There's no rhyme or reason. So I don't know. He has me at a loss sometimes, and I couldn't tell you. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm gonna be commenting on some of the new episodes because I have already watched those. So let's break it down and see. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. If you would like to be a part of our family, connect with us on social media. Link is in the description box. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, pollitos!